Hello, dear students. Today I'm going to start a series of lectures on our multidisciplinary paper, that is Electronics in Everyday Life. This is as per the syllabus of newly introduced new education policy under the Pondicherry University. I have already shared the syllabus with all of you. So in this particular series of lectures, in the very first series, I will be discussing why do we need a binary number system? Why do we need a binary number system? So let us explore this particular concept of binary number system, use of binary number system. So for that we will be going back to a little bit of back in time. So as we know that throughout the history of human civilization, almost all the human civilization has used a decimal number system, which basically has 10 digits. So whenever we talk about human civilization, whenever we talk about human civilization, we have always used a decimal number system. Now what is in that decimal number system? This decimal number system is basically considered as a number system with a base 10. Okay, so it is a number system which has a base 10. So I will tell you in detail why is it called base 10. So decimal number system has 10 digits: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So including the 0, we have in total 10 digits. And all of the numbers that we can possibly imagine or think of using in the present time is some combination of this 10 digit. So if you consider any number like somebody's age, say someone is 28 years old, it is 28. If someone is 98 years old, so it is 98. Suppose how much money you have in your pocket right now, say you have 1568 rupees. Okay, how much is the population of a city? Say say 13 crores or something, 23 lakhs or something like. So we have a number. Okay, so similarly, say you have a 500 rupee note. You want to know how many students are there in your class. Say 32 students are there. If you want to know how many students teachers are there in your college, say 60 plus or 65, 62, 63. How many staff are there? What is the population of your district? So all the numbers we imagine, how much bill I paid as an electricity bill. Say I paid around 3,423 rupees. Any number that we in sales or any there's a sale going on, whenever we look at the price, any number that we imagine is a combination of this, any kind of combination of this 10 digits. So this is all about decimal number system. So whenever you tell some human that you need to give me say 132 rupees, so this human can understand. Okay, so he can understand and he can respond to you in a similar way. So if you give an input as a 132 rupees, he will also give you as a input output in a similar manner. So if you tell a human, I am a human, I am interacting with a human, so I can easily deal with decimal number. So whenever we have a human to human connection. Okay, so if you want to talk about numbers, so decimal number is okay. Decimal number system. Okay, so when we are dealing with a human to human connection. Now with the passage of time, with the evolution of the technology and in the revolution in the semiconductor area everywhere, So we had computers, and computers have transformed from very big size to now in a pocket size also. Now when we had computers, then we have another problem. It's not a problem, we needed another interface to talk to the computers, because computers don't understand your language. Now when we had a computer, suppose you have a computer, so this is your computer, and now you are here, this is our human, and he wants to give some input to the computer. So if I give an input to the computer in decimal, the computer will not understand anything. It is just like an Indian person, if he goes to China, if he speaks in Hindi, he or any Indian language, the Chinese person may not understand. So if you go there, you will have to speak in their language to make them understand. So it's just an example. So similarly, in suppose you are talking to a computer, you want to convey something to the computer, you really can't make it understand if you talk in decimal system. Now we will be asking why it cannot understand decimal, what's wrong with it. Okay, now we will understand, try to see why a computer cannot understand decimal things. Okay, so before going to that, I will tell you that, so if you want to, so this is our input, this is our output. Okay, now in the output again we have this thing, again output, computer needs to tell the human. Okay, we need to see the output also. Again, now if the computer chooses its own language and it tells you in that language, this computer language, something in a computer language, you will not understand anything, right? So this is a complete mess. So that means for interacting with the computer, or to make the computer to do something or execute some function or some program, you need to devise a another type of number system or another type of language in which the computer can understand. Now before moving to that particular language part, what language the computer will choose, we will find out why a computer cannot understand decimal number. So this is the next question. So why a computer can understand a decimal number? For that we need to go to another section that I will be telling you. So what happens, the main memory of the computer, okay, so this is the computer you have. So the main memory of the computer is actually made up of transistors. Okay, so don't get worried about the word called transistor. You just remember that transistor is like a switch. Okay, it is just like a microscopic switch. You need not worry much about what is a transistor, because this paper is being handled by students who some students who may not belong to the science stream. It is a multidisciplinary paper. For those students, I'm going to tell that don't worry what is a transistor, it's just a switch. Okay, and for those students who are taking this paper from science background, can easily understand what is a transistor. I will not get into detail about a transistor in this particular lecture, since our main aim is to understand what is a binary language system. So okay, so the main again I'm going back to my point, is that the computer main memory, okay, that is made up of actually transistors, not one transistor, there may be many transistors. Okay, so the transistors, and again what is a transistor? The transistor is basically a microscopic switch. Okay, that can, or I will say which can control flow of electricity. Okay, so in computer memory is made up of so many transistors. Okay, and when I will say that switch, when I call the word switch, say the word switch can be either on and off. If you even take a normal bulb switch, fan switch, everything has only two states. It is either on or off. We don't have any middle state. So that's why now what happens, that in case of transistor, the low on and off basically means low and high voltage. All right, so say we have an apparatus for measuring voltage, say, and so the transistor basically switches between very high voltage, either high voltage or low voltage. Okay, so say it starts from 0 and then it goes up to 5 voltage. Okay, volt, and say 1 2 3 4. Okay, 0 1 2 3 4. Now in such case what happens, the voltage may oscillate. The voltage will not be always same. Voltage may oscillate. You can't always say that it will be either 0 volt or 5 volt, right? This is not like that. It can vary between 0 to 5. It can be sometimes 1, it can be sometimes 2, it can be sometimes 3, like that. So voltage may oscillate. Now when the voltage oscillation happens, suppose that the voltage is 1 volt now. Okay, say voltage is 1 right now. Okay, due to the flow of electricity through the transistors, you have got a voltage of 1 volt right now. So this is not considered to be, since it is still low, so this thing is going to be considered as a low. Okay, so it will basically represent a off. Similarly, say you are getting a voltage of say 4 volt. Okay, so this thing is towards the high volt, so it will be considered as high. Okay, so this thing is basically considered as on. Okay, so in that sense we have got to know that whenever the computer which uses a transistor, memory uses transistor, and the transistor behaves like a switch, and the switch is basically dealing with the control of flow of electricity. Okay, so depending upon the flow of electricity, the voltage can be either high or low. So if it is a low voltage, then it is considered to be in the off state. If it is a high voltage, then it is considered to be in the on stage. Okay, so that means if you want to talk to a computer, or if you want to interpret the actions of a computer, you need to talk only in terms of on or off. If you are talking in terms of on, that means you are talking in terms of high voltage. If you are talking in terms of off, you are talking in terms of low voltage. So that means, so whenever we talk about a computer has a memory. The memory is basically made up of transistor. The transistor is nothing but it's a switch. So the switch actually goes either high or low, or I will do it the reverse just to match with the diagram that we have already drawn. So it is either low or high voltage. Okay, and low voltage means off, and high voltage means on. So that means in this flowchart you can see that a computer actually understands only two things. Computer's memory, so with the help of which it executes different function, that understands only two things, on and off. Okay, so if it is off is represented by 0 and on is represented by 1. Okay, so that means since computer understands, since the computer understands only two states, on, off, we need to give inputs to the computer only in terms of 0 or 1. So we are using two digits only, that's why it is called binary. So what we got, that since the computer understands only two states, on and off, we need to give inputs to the computer only in terms of 0 and 1. That is called binary. And that is why, what happens, since the computers operate differently than human brains, so we have got to know that the computer's brain and human brain, totally they are not the same. They act totally differently. Instead, computer brain uses a number system which has only two digits. Can you understand? So computer's brain understand only two digits. Okay, on the contrary, humans understand 10 digits. Alright, so this system where it has only two digits is called binary number system, and human basically use decimal number system. It has a base of 2, it has a base of 10. So whenever we say that the number system with a base 2 is binary, the number with a base 10 is decimal. Okay, now suppose that you have a computer and you want to give some instruction to the computer. Now what you will be doing, your input will be in terms of, so computer, you are not exactly giving the input in terms of 0 and 1, but there is a proper way of giving the inputs to the you are not exactly giving, or you are not typing 0 and 1 in a keypad, but whenever you are typing something, that information is passed to the computer in terms of zeros and 1. That you remember, you never type 0 and 1 in the in the board. Okay, so whenever you type something in the board, then the information or any a function you want to execute, that information is passed to the computer in terms of zeros and ones. So there is a proper way of doing that. Similarly, suppose you want to get the output. Okay, you want to get the output from the computer. Fine. So you are not exactly receiving zeros and ones here. You are not receiving zeros and ones here like that. It is not like that. You will be receiving in your understandable language only, but the conversion, whatever the computer whatever result the computer has generated, that will be passed on to the software or relevant software in terms of zeros, ones, like that. Okay, in a string of zeros and ones, and then it will be properly converted to you with the help of some other techniques, so that it can be understood easily understandable by the humans. So this is what about binary number system. And yes, uh, what is the advantage? There is another point of considering the binary number system. And advantage of using binary number system. Okay, so suppose that, say the computer has to understand decimal. If you want to make uh, why people didn't do anything to make the computer understand decimals? Why don't the why the computer is not no progress is done in that case? Because whenever you make a computer, if you want to make a computer understand or work in decimal number system, the computer has to understand 10 different states, or the computer has to work for 10 different states. As a result of which, what will happen if the computer uses decimal system, it needs to use 10 different states. It will have to do more hard work, it will have to use more energy and more memory space. So this is not a very favorable system to deal with in case of computers. So that is why this is one of the disadvantages of decimal number. But when you talk about binary, if computer is using binary, it has to deal with only two states. So smaller the number of states, smaller is the amount of work to be done, smaller is the energy to be consumed, and smaller is the space to be utilized. So this is the advantage of using a binary number system over a decimal number system. So in this particular lecture we have studied, first of all I will go back to my initial page. So we have studied why exactly we need to need a binary number system. And then we have studied that how historically humans are always comfortable with the binary number system. Whatever we imagine, that is always a combination of binary numbers. We talk to each other, we can convey messages to each other in terms of binaries. I think I have done some mistake. Yes, so throughout the human civilization, what we have got to know that humans have always used decimal number system, which has 10 digits are there. So all the numbers a human can imagine is always a combination of decimal numbers. It can be 2 digit, 3 digit, 5 digit, 7 digit. So any number of digit, any number of combination can be there. When two humans come talk to each other, there is always a connection through decimal number system. We are used to it. And then the problem came when we had to talk to a computer. So when we tried to talk the computer in using decimal, then the computer couldn't understand anything. And the similar happens with the output also. If there is no input, there is no output also, and we cannot understand what the we are not able to understand what is the computer language. Then we have discussed why a computer cannot understand a decimal number system. What is a problem? Then where we have got to know that the computer's memory is actually, memory is the thing with which computer can, it's just like our brain. If you don't remember basic algebra, you cannot do addition, subtraction, multiplication. So for doing a basic algebra, you need to remember the table. So everything is our brain. Similarly, computer memory is everything. So whatever function it executes with the help of its memory only. And the memory is basically built up of transistors. And what is a transistor? Transistor is a switch. It's a microscopic switch, and it is made up of many transistors. So the transistors can actually control the flow of electricity. So depending on the amount of electricity it is controlling, it can either get a high voltage, low voltage, which is 0, or it, say for example, and it can get a high voltage which is say 5 volts for example. So high voltage, whenever it is getting high voltage, it is considered to be on. Whenever it is getting low voltage stage, it is considered to be off. Now suppose even if you are getting 1 volt, it will be considered as 0, because voltages may not remain only at 0 and 5. It may be 1 also, it can be 2 also, 3 also, 4 also, 5 also. So that is why if it is towards the lower end, it is considered to be low. If it is towards the higher end, it is considered to be high. Low stage represents off stage, high stage represents on stage. So that means computer's memory, which is made up of transistors. So transistors has only two working states. One is on and another is off. On is considered, so on is represented by a digit that is 1, and off is represented by a digit 0. Now, so since computer understands only two states, on and off, we need to give inputs to the computer only in terms of 0 and 1. And this thing is called, this forms a binary number system. So we have understood that the computer brain and human brain is not the same. Computer brain uses 0 and 1 to understand everything, but when human brain uses 10 different digits to understand everything. So advantages and then advantages of using a binary number system. If you want to use a decimal number system, computer needs to work on 10 different states. 10 different states means it has to do more work. Okay, more work. It has to use up more energy, and it has to use up more space. Okay, but luckily computer prefers a binary number system which uses only two states. So it has advantage of using less work. Computer has to do less work, less energy, right? And then it uses less space or memory. So that's it for the first lecture on the binary number system. If you have any doubts, please comment below, or you can drop me messages, all of those who have my contact number. Thank you so much.